I told you I guess 3 weeks ago now, that here in the District of Columbia, in the face of civil insurrection by groups associated with the radical Black Lives Matter movement, the mayor of DC used tax dollars to paint Black Lives Matter on 16th Street, which is the street which runs right into the White House. So this is the White House right here, and this is 16th Street. There's a park here. That's Lafayette Park. 16th Street comes right in. And she painted, and Mayor Bowser, who's our mayor, she painted it in letters that are street wide. And then she allowed the Black Lives Matter movement to add the following language: Black Lives Matter equals defund the police, right next to it. I think they eventually erased that part, but Black Lives Matter is still there. And Judicial Watch asked for equal access under the First Amendment to the streets of DC. We wanted to paint a street near our office and near Capitol Hill with our motto, because no one is above the law. And needless to say, they gave us the bureaucratic runaround. We had multiple communications with DC officials, and we couldn't get anywhere. So today, I should say today, yesterday, I think it was yesterday. This week, how's that? It was yesterday. This video is airing on Friday, but I'm taping it on Thursday. We sued in federal court, civil rights complaint, for violating our First Amendment rights. We wanted access in a timely way to the streets to put our own message out there. And the DC government gave us the runaround. You know, they sent us to a pay. You know, they said, here, you can go to this web page, get a permit. There was no availability there was no permit that covered what we wanted to do. We made calls. We were getting pushback from the people we were talking to in the DC government. Well, I never heard of a permit like that. Couldn't get anything. They all knew what we wanted to do. Certainly the mayor's office did. So that sign is still there on 16th Street. But Judicial Watch, and frankly anyone else who wants to have an expressive message on the street, can't get access. Obviously don't like our message, which, as I say, is timely and important, because no one is above the law. Applies to looters, rioters, the police, the politicians, the citizens. And of course, it protects all of us too, doesn't it? That theme. So that when our rights are violated, the law is supposed to hold those who violate them accountable. And this is what we wrote in our complaint. The lawsuit alleges that DC officials denied timely equal access to Judicial Watch to paint its own expressive message and violated federal civil rights law in A, allowing district streets to be used for the painting of expressive messages, which constitutes protected First Amendment activity, but denying plaintiff, Judicial Watch, the timely opportunity to paint its expressive message on a district street for reasons that are not narrowly drawn to achieve a compelling government interest. B, failing to provide a reasonable basis for denying plaintiff the timely opportunity to paint its expressive message on a district street. C, favoring the expressive messages painted on 16th Street Northwest and or creating the appearance of endorsing those messages to the exclusion of our message on a related subject matter. And or D, failing to provide reasonable, non-arbitrary processes and procedures for timely consideration of our requests to paint an expressive message on a district street. We were willing to be flexible. We would have moved it to a different street. If we needed to close a street, we were trying to figure out how to close a street. We were all ready to go. We would pay for the paint. We'd get the contractor. We'd do everything. I mean, I know when we first announced this, and God bless America, many of you, you were all saying, well, you're willing to come to DC and do the painting for us. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. And it shows you why it's important that we be able to get the access, because we speak for millions of people. And you may think Black Lives Matter is a phenomenal message, and I'm not debating that issue right now, and we can debate that. But don't you see, my fellow conservative and liberal Americans, that when a government starts painting messages on the street, politically controversial messages, or just messages generally on a matter of politics, and they don't allow anyone else to paint in that forum, that's a problem? Don't you understand that? I think you do. I think you do. My experience, most Americans understand lack of fair play. When something's not fair, it ain't fair. In this case, when it ain't fair, it ain't legal. So we're now in federal court, and we'll see what happens. Now, of course, DC isn't the only one playing this game. In New York City, they're planning on painting Black Lives Matter in all 5 boroughs. They're targeting Trump specifically, the mayor of DC, mayor of Manhattan. Ironic, it's a kind of a Freudian slip. The mayor of New York is de Blasio, far leftist, targeting the Trump Tower by painting Black Lives Matter. We're planning to do that in front of Trump Tower, attacking the president, obviously. So we asked the mayor of New York for access as well. We just sent a letter. I signed it this week. They announced 5 locations in Manhattan and Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and of course on 5th Avenue between 56th and 57th Street, which is right outside Trump Tower. So we asked for access as well to paint, because no one is above the law. And we thought we might be able to do it between 81st and 83rd Street. So a little bit uptown there. So we gave the mayor 3 days to respond. In the case of DC, we gave them 3 days. We waited 3 weeks. And as with DC, in New York, we are willing to enforce our rights in court if necessary. If necessary. You know, and this kind of goes to a broader issue. Our rule of law is under attack. We're facing a communist revolution. We have leftist politicians endorsing one side of the fight. I mean, the Black Lives Matter phraseology is not designed to promote or protect Black lives. It's designed to incite racial division. It suggests that police specifically target Blacks because they're Blacks. It suggests that Blacks are victimized by systemic racism. It attacks the fundamental basis of the American system. The Black Lives Matter movement, the official organized structure, the Global Foundation, whatever it's being called now, they're Marxists. They say they're Marxists. They're communists. Those Seattle protesters, it's a communist insurrection we're facing. I mean, you think it was about burning and taking down Confederate statues? No, they're assaulting George Washington statues. They're tearing down the statue of a saint in California, Christopher Columbus, George Washington. They're attacking now Mount Rushmore. You have the New York Times quoting some radical activist whose organization's goal is to, quote, decolonize the United States. What does that mean? It means end the country. And we have Republicans, senators who I generally like, Senator Johnson and Langford, were proposing to remove the Columbus Day holiday in exchange for adding this Juneteenth anniversary as a federal holiday. I, for one, have no problem whatsoever in having a federal holiday celebrating the end of slavery, whether it be Juneteenth. I think historically speaking, a better date would be the anniversary of the passage of the 13th Amendment, which I think was in December. I have no problem. It's something to be celebrated. It is. But by ending Columbus Day as a federal holiday, or at least a paid federal holiday, they're pretending it's about money. Do you think it's about money? Of course it's not about money. Of course it's not about money. The only activity in Congress is about attacking the police with regulations. I mean, the president has been at least pushing and leading on this issue much more aggressively than Congress, highlighting about through an executive order the enforcement of the law protecting monuments from being desecrated and attacked. 10 years in jail, potentially, a lot of people are going to face. Hundreds have been arrested. But it's a broader issue than just attacking monuments. They're trying to destroy our republic. It's a revolution. It's an insurrection. And we have to treat it as such. So we do what we can to highlight the rule of law and the failure to apply it equally in the District of Columbia and New York. But let's be clear, our leaders need to step up, because these revolutionaries, these insurrectionists won't succeed, will not succeed if our government, for the people and by the people, put it down. This isn't a protest. This is a revolution.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.